The GOP field gathers Tuesday night for the fifth and final debate of 2015 as we head into 2016. From the Oklahoman's video studio, I'm Dave Morris with a preview of what we can expect to see on CNN on Tuesday night. Joining us is the Oklahoman's Chris Castile from our Washington, D.C. office. Sir, how are you doing today?
I'm fine, Dave. Thanks.
We can watch tomorrow night on CNN. 7:30 is the main card. The undercard gets started at 5 p.m. Hosted by Wolf Blitzer. He's joined by Dana Bash and Salem Radio Network's Hugh Hewitt. And Chris, the fifth and final debate, what have we seen so far from the GOP field in these debates?
A lot, I think, and I think what we're going to see on Tuesday's debate, I think the main focus will be, what's on people's mind right now, and that's terrorism. That's Middle East generated terrorism, and then the threat that we saw in San Bernardino, in that massacre of cells here in the United States.
There were media reports over the weekend, Washington Post and others, that seem to indicate Ted Cruz has quite a bit of a war chest gathered and perhaps momentum heading into Iowa. How big of a deal is that heading into tomorrow night?
Well, I think it'll definitely be one of the dynamics, Dave. I think obviously Trump is still the national frontrunner, but it's not a national primary. I mean, these are going to go state by state, and Iowa, where you have such a big field like this, and you really do have to count on these two little early states, Iowa, New Hampshire, and then South Carolina, to kind of weed this out a little bit, kind of narrow it down. So the Cruz momentum, it's big, and I think it will obviously maybe lead to some engagement between him and Trump, but really between him among all the others too have to have some kind of showing in Iowa. I think there may be some targeted shots at Cruz tomorrow night, and along with Cruz's rise, I think if I'm looking at the same poll or thinking about the same poll that you're citing, you've seen Ben Carson's drop. I think double digits over the last few weeks, and that gets back, I think, to this terrorism, national security issue that I really think is going to be the focus. We have not had a debate since Paris and San Bernardino, and poll after poll shows that it's leaked terrorism. The fear of terrorist attacks in the United States is now the leading issue. So I think it's, in some polls surpassed the economy. So you're going to have serious discussion of it, not just I'll carpet bomb this, I'll carpet bomb that. I think Americans are looking for really more detailed, more nuanced, maybe more credible responses from these guys, and mystery arena at this point.
Again, the fifth and final debate of 2015 can be watched on CNN Tuesday night at 7:30 Oklahoma time. Chris, before the fourth debate, I mentioned, does Jeb Bush have to make a move here? Before the fifth debate, I'll ask you, does Jeb Bush need to make a move here?
Yes, he does. Although, he was probably never, or at least not, I shouldn't say never, but probably in recent months, the way this race has shaped up, since the summer and fall, probably never counted on, being one of the top candidates in Iowa. But New Hampshire, yes, he has to. He has to, if not win it, have some kind of showing. He's got all this money, but he's also blown through millions and millions of dollars, and at some point, people are going to say it's just not going to happen for you, Jeb. You're not going to be, there's not going to be another Bush in the White House.
You mentioned blanket carpet bombing statements tomorrow night, and of course that brings to mind Donald Trump. He'll be middle podium at the debate, and when he first put his hat into the ring, if you will, it was his speech against Mexicans. Any idea what we might hear from Donald Trump tomorrow night?
I guess it just depends on what's asked. I think obviously the comments that he made about barring all Muslims is going to be, a topic, and I think I can't cite every single other candidate's reaction to it, but generally the reaction from the other Republicans in the race has been, opposed to that proposal to bar Muslims even temporarily from entering the United States. But I mean, I certainly don't think he's going to try to back off of it in any way. And I mean, I think there's been polling showing that there may even be a majority of Americans who support it at this point. But he will be outnumbered on that issue, and if depending on how it goes, depending on how the discussion goes and how the questions are framed, he could get pretty agitated.
Will be interesting. The fifth and final debate of 2015 for the GOP field. Tuesday night, you can watch on CNN at 7:30. Chris, thank you for your time and your context today.
All right, thanks.
More political coverage from Mr. Castile can be found in the Oklahoman and online at newsok.com.